I actually felt I was going to be very lazy today and get you to do all the work for me. Because I wanted to start off with the presentation of 2 years ago when we were talking about change in retail. And so my presentation is really about continuous commerce. And we'll get to that at the end. But we need to start with the first question, which is, what have you done new today? And so I wanted to ask someone in the audience to tell me what have they done new in their store over the last 2 years that's actually made a bit of a difference. Do I have a volunteer someplace? Sachin, find me a volunteer, please. There you are.
So, I feel, rather than doing something new today or trying to be different, what we like to work on is doing things differently rather than doing different things or new things. So what we have done in the last 2 years as a store at Anmol in Bombay is we have given a lot of not only responsibility but authority to our managers to close deals. So there's a lot of backing that we give them to take decisions, to close sales, and completely back them. And that has worked differently, exactly like Sachin said. Small things make a lot of difference. Rather than trying to do one big thing, little things, a lot of importance to them as people, as managers, and that has really helped us.
Thanks, spot on. Last time we were talking about organizational change and management change. But today I want to talk a little bit about what's happening in your stores. So I have a question. Maybe you don't have the answer, but we'll get to it. So what is your customer experience mission? I don't need this anymore. Does anybody have a customer experience mission? You do? Well,
Sorry.
Please share.
I don't want to hog the limelight, but we actually do. So for us, we always want to give more than just the product. There's a value add. And we always strive to give more in terms of, it could be an instant gift that we give, the way we treat our client. There have been a lot of instances when we know a client is coming in and it's the client's birthday, we will organize a cake, we will organize even some special music. We always striving to go beyond just giving a product. So there's always a value add, and that is really a mission.
Fantastic. We're talking more and more about customer experience. So I've come across a mission statement that I thought was quite fascinating. It's from a gentleman called Bezos, and he says, "We see our customers as invited guests to a party." A party? I mean, who has ever thought of their store as being a party place? And thinking every day of how you can make that experience that much more better. And I'm a bit of an Amazon buyer, and so I went to see what Amazon looks like in India. It is a bit of a party. There's a lot going on, and you have Prime Day is back, Prime Day deal, Prime Day launches, blockbuster entertainment. Then if you look at their menus on the side, they're doing things like Amazon Destinations and Inspire. What in heaven's name is Amazon Inspire? So they're chasing us all the time as consumers, and they're trying to get us to come back and back and back, and their customer relationship management and their in-store experience is getting stronger and better and more exciting. You need your Amazon fix. I'm going to be like Stephen today. I have a son. I have 3 children, but I have one son. And the other day in the mailbox was a small Amazon box, and it had been there for about a week. And I said, "Pietro, what is this?" And he says, "It's eye drops." I said, "What do you mean eye drops?" And he says, "Yeah, I need eye drops because I'm traveling to New York and my eyes are going to get dry." I said, "But the pharmacy is across the street." "Yeah, I haven't got time." And he has his eye drops on Amazon Prime. Far-fetched, again, in this online world, are looking to understand how do they engage with consumers? How do they actually understand what you're looking for so that they can make everything easier and more convenient for you? But having said that, when we look at the BCG data of 2019, 80% of people still go back to a store to do their purchase. So the question we need to ask ourselves, and I think you've probably seen images of this around the world, is when was the last time we had a queue outside our stores? This is LV in Hong Kong, but we've seen pictures of Amazon, we've seen Apple. There's so many people that are queuing up for an experience. I live in Milan, and between the Chinese and the Japanese and the tourists, they queue outside stores, not only to buy, but also just to see what the places are all about. And when we ask consumers, on an offline experience, what are they looking for? Well, actually, they want to see, they want to feel, so it's a sensorial experience. They want to experience the product, they want to have an experience in that purple, but they also want to talk to someone. In fact, 75% of consumers would prefer to do an in-store purchase because it's easier and nicer and faster for them to talk to someone than to do it on a digital experience. So the question goes back to when we say, do we know our consumers? How deeply do we know our consumers? What data have we captured to understand when they come into the store, what can we offer them? Amazon's doing it, Farfetch is doing it, are we doing it? And the more we know, the more we can tailor-make experiences for consumers when they come into our stores. And tailor-making is not that complicated, I think, as Amol was saying, is that we know their birthday, we know the special event, we'll do something for them specifically. But then you can also do it as a collective as well. As you're looking at larger data, you can understand where the millennials are, where the older generations are. You can create high tea, as you will, to invite consumers in. And of course, it's in the learning. The online retailers are actually now becoming physical as well, because they're beginning to understand that they need to have the contact with the consumers, they need to understand the purchase cycle, they need to understand the experience, they need to get into deeper learning so that they can take it both online and offline. And if we look at some older data, what we see is the average retail conversion rate is about 10% in store when done well. Many people will come into store and not purchase. They may come back, but they may go someplace else, and they may even just check online. But the astonishing thing is that 65% of people who come into stores are not asked to leave any form of information. So how do we get there? And it's not difficult. I mean, we just have to start asking the questions. But the more we know about our consumers, the better we can design, the better we can communicate, and the better we can create in-store experiences. And as I said here, we want to be able to get to a point where we're creating unique moments, we're creating personalized events, but we're also creating a continuous conversation where we're giving them the ability to speak on our behalf to their friends through selfies and posts and so forth. But for us also to continue the conversation by sending them information that may be worthwhile for them in their next purchase. Unfortunately, your face recognition wasn't working. I was a bit worried when I was walking in if I would be tagged. But facial recognition is becoming our reality. If you walk into Burberry in London today, they know who you are. Because if you've given them permission to use the data, they know who you are. They know your favorite drink. So as soon as you come in, they're already offering you your favorite drink and they're making you feel comfortable. But this form of data helps us understand also what's going on in the store. How are consumers actually reacting to what they're seeing in the store? Are they happy or not so happy? And so this tracking helps us understand what our merchandising mixes are, what products are working better for us, where the customer paths are working more effectively. And it's not difficult. I was with Abraham the day before yesterday in his store, and he says, whenever we have our consumers come in, it's the man with his wife, and she will sit in front and she'll choose and choose and choose, and he'll get bored. And we have a special room for him where he can have a cup of tea and watch TV. And I said to him, but has he got an iPad and is he filling out the data? Good point. So you have many occasions. Don't wait for the end of the purchase, because once they've made the purchase, they're probably in a rush to get out. But along that moment where they're in the store, there are moments to capture information about them. And if they don't come to you, many people go to them. And so you have, pop-up shops, and I think Sachin was saying yesterday, over 100 events in India alone, where they were creating opportunities to create events and experiences for people to come by and drop their data in for us. But what does data do for us? This is a Levi's store about 10 years ago. This is a Levi's store today. It's a very different experience. It's a cool place to go, and it's all focused on exactly what they're selling, which is jeans. You may know the brand Loewe. This is a typical Loewe store, high-end, Main Street. This is how they're marketing to millennials. Very different store. Hermès. This is Hermès New York, millennials. They're understanding what's driving the consumer's tastes, and they're even separating their stores out so they can create specific experiences for each one of their clients. Has anybody seen this? This was a mannequin that came into a Nike store 3 weeks ago in London. It was the most controversial thing that happened in London, I think, or anywhere in the land. Oversized, and it created a whole bunch of conversation around, is it promoting obesity? What is it promoting? But quite simply, it's saying, you don't need to be super thin to come to Nike to buy clothes. You don't need to be of a specific look. We understand that every body is a body that has an athlete in them, and we've got something for you. And I think it's breaking the rules. It's something that's unexpected. You can even discuss whether the position is right or not. But the thing is that they've got the conversation going, and they're getting people in store to make those purchases and to encourage people to live a healthier life. That's, at the end of the day, their mission. Speak up. I'm deafening myself. This is a coffee shop in Venice, 1752 foundation. It's a coffee experience. When you go inside, this is the history of Italy sitting in one place. When you go in here, you don't want to leave, and you're willing to spend €1.20 for your coffee. This is another building, and this is in Milan. A fabulous building. It's in the center of the city, next to the Duomo. Guess what's inside? Starbucks. €2.80 a coffee. They're competing in the world of coffee in Italy. I mean, how dare they? But at the end of the day, it's a fantastic experience. You go inside, and you're living in an environment that is bringing the world to a new place. And they've done JVs with food and all sorts of other things. And so the shopping experience and the coffee experience has gone to a new level. And for an Italian, where I'm used to paying €1 for my coffee, I now need to stand in line for €2.80 and the same coffee. So our data tells us that 74% of Indians know the brand that they want to purchase before they actually purchase a piece of jewelry. And that's very helpful information for us, because when we're talking about Forevermark, we're working towards designing stores that are in the same place that the Louis Vuittons or the Loewe's or the Hermès are. We want to be able to create experiences for consumers to enjoy. And I think what we learn about tactile and physicality is that is a memory generator. Online, you skim through stuff and you may remember the page. But when you actually physically enjoy something, the memory is that much more powerful. And so our stores today are bringing the whole world of De Beers and Botswana and Africa into the experience. So we've re-engineered the materials we're using. We're bringing in life. We're bringing in photography that is telling us the combination between nature and diamonds, and we're also, of course, bringing in a whole bunch of technology. So we have tables that are interactive where you can play, and I think you've seen a lot of what's on the platform back there, where people can learn, experience, exchange their data and some of the QR codes and so forth. So it becomes a data hub for us, but also a learning place for them to be as well. But we've taken that learning one step further. So on the back, we have what we call the discovery wall. And within the discovery wall, we're giving little boxes of experience. We're giving them the ability to touch a piece of kimberlite, to touch things that they may have never touched before from Africa, which is an experience. It's Instagrammable, it's selfieable, it's shareable, and it's part of that learning experience. And then there's some of the boxes that you can open up and discover videos as well of what's going on around the world. And some of you might have tried the VR machine. I don't know if this works or not, but the VR has helped us understand what's the customer journey in the store, where are they going, so that the layouts of our stores today are done in such a way where we're bringing consumers to the places they need to be. So whether it's the back wall where they're doing the discovery and spending time, and you'll see how much time they're actually spending, whether they're going around and looking at the various ways in which we're exhibiting jewelry, so no longer in a counter, but sometimes flat up on a wall so that they can be straight on. This experience has helped us design a better store for the future. And as we capture data and we learn more about them, that makes us more powerful in communicating to them. So the CRM activities we're creating, the landing pages, the modules that we're giving them in terms of learning guides and how to purchase guides, that's all the interactivity that we're providing to you, but also through our websites and our Instagram handles. So we're generating more information, more knowledge, and more learning about our consumers. So Anmol knows his consumers, and the question is, how well do you know your consumers? How much data do you actually have? How willing are you to share that data with us? Yesterday, Sachin was showing us some of the data from India, and I think once we start looking at the data from India, from the De Beers Group, segmentation studies and consumption habits, and your data, then we can start looking at pockets of opportunity to help grow even further. Because at the end of the day, commerce creates customer relations. They come into your store and you create a relation. And customer relations, at the end of the day, drive commerce. And it's almost like a virtuous circle. It's the continuous commerce. And if we can do that, then in reality, we can become limitless. Thank you.